Well, good afternoon. Thanks for coming back from lunch and joining our afternoon session. I'm really excited about the next panel. In recurring revenue business models, as you know, the sales and marketing process doesn't stop with that initial sale. It's actually really the start of the sales and marketing process. And in our next panel, we're going to explore, with the emergence of the customer success function, we're going to explore that relationship between customer marketing and customer success, and how some of those boundaries and some of those responsibilities are really changing now within our businesses. So please join me in welcoming our two esteemed panelists. First, we have Lauren Deneau, who's Head of Customer Success at Demandforce. Lauren? All right, welcome, Lauren. And we've got Howard Tarnoff, who's Senior Vice President at Ceridian HCM. So welcome, Howard. All right, thank you both for joining. So first, maybe we'll start with just a quick introduction of you, your responsibility within your company. And I think just to level set a little bit, it would also be useful to understand the role of customer success within your organization. So Lauren, maybe we can start with you.
Yeah, sure. So I head up customer success at Demandforce. I've been there for 5 years now. What's interesting about Demandforce is that we are the front office solution for small businesses. So our customers are primarily small businesses, service-oriented, like dentists, auto shops, salon, spa, home services. So it's a very different model than a lot of the customers that may be in attendance at Pulse. When you have a $1 million a year contract, it's easy to do one-on-one account management and one-on-one customer success. But when you have 30,000 customers at a $299 per month average price point, it becomes much trickier. And so customer marketing then becomes a much greater importance for us, and we really have to learn how to do it effectively. So I'm really excited to explore this topic a little bit more with Howard.
Great. So good afternoon, everyone. And no, we can't see beyond the lights, so that's really interesting. So I'm Howard Tarnoff with the Customer Success Organization at Ceridian, Ceridian HCM. We're in the human capital management space, which to most of you means you get an accurate paycheck, your taxes are filed correctly, W-2s come out on time, and your benefits are done correctly. So every relationship between an employer and the employee, starting with recruiting, through scheduling work, onboarding, time and attendance, payroll, benefits, and then when you leave the organization, until ACA wipes it out, we also do COBRA. So it's a very intense situation when something doesn't go right. People who work in human capital management and payroll are used to the fact that no one ever comes into their office and says, you know what, my check was right again this week. Thanks a lot for doing that for me. So it's not a huge thank you position. When things do not go well, like you blow the executive annual bonus payments, you hear about that. You hear about that pretty loudly and clearly. Our customer success organization came from different roots than I would imagine any other one has. We started as a function of marketing with a very simple premise. And the premise is that Ceridian's success is equal to the sum total of our customers' successes. And it was about advocacy, and it still really is. And 2.5 iterations later, we've now melded in our service delivery, and we're now in the process of rolling in our account executive team as well. And the organization has grown from a team of 4 to a team of about 90, where I was working for our chief marketing officer, to where now I report to our chief customer officer, who reports up to our chief revenue officer. So it's a totally different landscape. We're morphing, and Gainsight's a big part of it.
Great. Well, thank you both, and welcome. So we're going to start off with one of those hard-hitting questions. We're going to go right for one of the tough ones. So would you rather listen to Nick Mehta sing karaoke for one whole year or be disconnected from the internet for the rest of your life? So Lauren, let's start with you. Now, Nick loves karaoke, so I'm sure that he'd be happy to sing for you for a year.
Can I control the volume? That's a very important question.
You can ask nicely.
I would definitely go with karaoke.
Okay, fantastic. Howard?
So actually, I'm a creature of habit, and I start every morning the same way. I brew a cup of Death Wish coffee, so actually I'm an advocate for them. If you haven't tried it, I think you should. It's as good as Starbucks Americano. And then the next thing I do, and I thought everyone did this, I go surf YouTube looking for Nick's latest release, and I turn that up full volume.
Well, I think he's working on a greatest hits playlist, so you can play that over and over. Well, excellent. Let's go ahead and actually get into our first question here. And for this panel, we're actually going to be playing a little bit of a game of true or false, and then give the panelists an opportunity to respond to each of the questions. So our first true or false question or statement is, customer success should play a role in prospect marketing to support the buyer's journey. Lauren, let's go ahead and we'll start with your perspective on this.
Yeah, so as I'm sure I'll say many times throughout this whole week at Pulse, customer success really is your marketing team's best friend. The customer success team, they're in the trenches. They're talking to your customers day in and day out. They arguably know your product and how your customers are using the product better than anyone else in the company. And so with that, they're able to identify advocates for the company. And so at Demandforce specifically, we very recently, as of May 2nd, reorganized our entire customer success team. And what we did was align them more closely with sales so that each customer success manager actually owns a territory and a group of customers within a specific vertical. And it gave them a little bit more ownership over the success of the customers that they own. And with that, they're now responsible for onboarding customers in their territory, proactive account health maintenance, and customer retention. And as a fourth piece, we've really tasked them with identifying a group of advocates within their territory and then working with those advocates, funneling them to marketing to help create case studies and video testimonials, and then working with our advocates. Trade shows are a big part of, especially in the health industry, associations and ongoing education. So if we have advocates that can go to those sessions and speak about how Demandforce has helped grow their business, transform their business, make their lives a bit easier, then we're able to bring in these referrals into our sales pipeline and really shorten the time to sale and decrease the cost of acquisition. So for us, cultivating that group of advocates is really how customer success partners with marketing with the buyer journey.
And it sounds like in that new model, really a great partnership between the sales teams and the customer success team, given the tight linkage between the accounts.
Yeah, as much as possible, we tried to align where the AEs are selling to where the CSMs are supporting, so that there can be a real partnership in building the relationship and the advocacy together with their partner in
Sure.
sales.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Howard, it'd be great to get your perspective on this topic.
Well, our perspectives are very similar. We have an understanding that 5 years ago the marching order of marketing was to turn up the volume and arm the field, and I said that in another panel that I was on yesterday. But it's really true. It was more clicks, be louder, brighter, and give the sellers more stuff. Times have changed. I'm an advocate of not having a sales process. I believe it's all about the buyer's journey. And Ceridian has customers who are doing really amazing things with human capital management. It's not just about getting the check right, but they've really figured out how they can better their shareholder value and their company's competitive position by having a proper human capital management strategy. And they like sharing that information with their peers, which is a great thing, because there is a buyer's journey, and that buyer's journey starts with peer influence. Basically, it's a subject matter expert who's well respected within their vertical market or horizontally, CIO to CIO, CTO to CTO, and they're having a conversation. So there's the social proof that drives that opportunity into the top of the funnel. The customer that comes out of that buyer's journey is a lot smarter than one that came through demand gen. They know what they bought, they know what their business outcomes are that they're looking for, and they become a much smarter partner for implementation, onboarding, and go live. And what does that really mean to us? That means that sellers could take on probably 20% more quota because they're 20% more effective. And we get to revenue a lot faster. We have a better partner in implementation on the customer side. And look, it's, ACV or net new wins is great, but you have to convert it to revenue, and we get to revenue a lot faster with those customers than the ones that come through demand gen.
And I would imagine customers coming through more educated, it's going to simplify the onboarding process. And of course,
Absolutely.
That process is so critical to getting the relationship started. All right, excellent. Let's explore our next true or false statement. So marketing should own all marketing to existing customers. True or false? Lauren, what's your take on this?
So I actually think this one is both true and false. So as I said previously, marketing and customer success, there really needs to be a partnership there. And for us at Demandforce, what we've done is we've kind of split our marketing up into two sections. So if a communication is going out to all of our customers and it's one message to all, then that's owned by our marketing team and they send that out. If it's something that's segmented and it's based on customer usage data, it's based on partnership information, based on length of contract, then the customer success team owns that message, and we send that out actually through Gainsight with Copilot. And one thing to note here is that even though these are owned separately and we've split this up, it's still very important to partner with the marketing team. One of the worst mistakes that you can make in customer marketing is sending your customers too many communications or overlapping messages with your customers. So our marketing team owns the master sort of communications calendar, and then we craft the messages and schedule them out so that we're all on the same page. And for us, with having 30,000 customers at a fairly low price point, it's very important for us to try and get our customers to engage and adopt within the product through a one-to-many tech touch. And so the example that I'll use in the slides is new feature adoption is the main reason why we would start one of these marketing campaigns. And so I'll use the example of our newest feature that we're releasing, which is a text messaging feature within our product. So as a customer is given this new feature, there's actually initially an in-product display that they see that lets them know that this feature is available to them. And what we do is we use a system called WalkMe, and it allows the customer to click through and actually be guided on turning on this new feature. And we can deliver the training and the value and sort of best practices within this WalkMe system. If a customer still hasn't adopted this feature within a specific period of time, then what we'll do is we'll send out an email through Copilot within Gainsight. It's direct to the business from the CSM, so it appears to be very personalized. I was looking at your account and I noticed that you haven't turned this on yet. And we include a link to the same WalkMe. This is one of the features of Gainsight we've seen the most success with. Our initial Copilot email that we sent went to about 1,400 customers who weren't using our voice feature, and within a week, over 200 of them had turned it on through the Copilot and concurrently the WalkMe. And what's great is that it also allows you to do a lot of tracking on why customers may not be adopting a particular feature. So for us, the second email that we sent out wasn't nearly as successful as the first, and it was related to an email feature that we had within the product. And we noticed that hundreds of customers were starting the WalkMe from the Copilot email, but only a handful were actually completing it and getting to the end and turning on the feature. And what we were able to do is look at how many opened this, how many started the WalkMe, how many got through, and where is it that they're dropping off. And when we identified, okay, this is the part of the process that they're all leaving, they're not moving forward, and then do a little bit more research and actually discover that, wow, it's really confusing for our customers when they get to this particular part of turning the feature on, and so they're leaving. And then having that data, we were already armed to go to our product team and say, look, this is where we need to fix this feature so that our customers will adopt it without needing a one-to-one touch from our CSM team. We do have a personal touch. If a customer still hasn't adopted a key feature after both an in-product display and a Copilot email, that's when we'll go ahead and open up a CTA or a call to action within Gainsight to actually reach out and call the customer, try to get them to turn on the feature, and then collect any feedback on why they may not be ready to turn it on. And That's worked really well for us. We've done quite a few Copilot emails. This feature, as I said, the team is new, so this is going to be our first feature that will go through this entire process. So we're excited to see how many we can get to turn it on before the personal touch. But another sort of byproduct of that is that we've been able to, through our customer marketing campaigns, identify where we might have a gap in reaching out to the wrong customer or have incorrect customer data, because in our business with these small businesses, you're working with a front office manager, there's a lot of turnover. So it's really important for us to keep our data updated for our contacts, and looking at who has opened the messages and who hasn't has been a really good way for our CSMs to also go through and update that contact data and make sure that we're consistently getting the right message to the right person at the right time.
Great. Makes a lot of sense. Howard, let's go to you.
Okay, so I would say not true and false. I would say true and. And let me start off by saying that where we came from in customer success and our journey to get to where we are today, much of what we do or have done over the last 3 years could be classified as that of a talent agency. So we have these great customers who are doing great things with Ceridian, and they want to share that with their peers. We provide them with a podium and a microphone to share those successes. So marketing looks at us for talent to create the content and create the messaging that we take to the marketplace. It's rather than the old marketing, which is we do, we are, we're about. It's customers saying this is who Ceridian is. These are the business outcomes. These are the challenges. This is what they do, and this is what it'll mean to the bottom line of your company. So what you see on the slide in front of you is about engagement and what's really happened over the last 3 years. So when we started this thing at the end of 2012 and launched in January of 2013, we started with one of Gainsight's partners, Influitive, and we created a hub where our customers could be engaged, and we could provide them with opportunities to step up to the podium, grab the microphone, and tell their story. That could be media interview with Wall Street Journal, New York Times, could be a analyst interview, could be a speaking engagement at an industry event, or we do these things called Dine with Dayforce, where we have a road show, and it's all about customers telling their stories. So in 2013, an active advocate did less than 5 of those opportunities over the course of a year. 2014, that grew to just south of a dozen, and in 2015, it's just south of 20, and this year it's probably running at a run rate where our Uber advocates are engaged with us probably north of 25, close to 30 different market-like engagements that they're doing on our behalf and telling their story. So that's where we came from. The marketing organization is really our partner and also our customer. So when we talk about customer success, we talk about our external customers, and then we also talk about our internal customers. And our internal customers are everyone from the sales organization having the right prospect, speaking to the right peer at the right time about their experience. And we don't ask our advocates to do things for us. It's always presented as an opportunity for them. Hey, Andy, how would you like to have a conversation with Lauren? She's interested in your onboarding experience. So that works very, very well. So it's feeding the marketing machine. It's feeding product management team that wants to talk to our customers about features and adoptions. It's talking to our implementation team about customer experience and best practices, talking to our support organization about customer experience. We have executive councils where our advocates can come in and talk to various leaders of our organization, and a matter of fact, do fun things with them. It's kind of a reward for advocacy.
Howard, you used the term partner. I think it would be great to get both of your perspectives on how you've been able to achieve that level of partnership with your marketing organization as the customer success function within your company emerged. Can you maybe talk about that?
Yeah, well, we didn't have a choice. We were captive, right? So I reported to the chief marketing officer, and we actually built customer success under the marketing umbrella. So it was great. Our new CMO is someone that I've had the pleasure of working with for multiple decades. Our former CMO who helped launch this is someone that I knew from a former life as well. So it was getting people to really understand that our success would never exceed the success of our customers, and it really takes and now Gainsight, Gainsight allows us to keep, no pun intended around pulse, but it allows us to keep our fingers on the pulse of these customers. And by understanding their health, we can drive advocacy to a degree beyond what our competitors are doing, right? So we talk about this four-legged stool, which is Gainsight, Salesforce, Influitive, and then a product called Reference View from a company called RO Innovation, which is the way our internal customers come to us looking for assets.
Great. And Lauren, maybe you can talk about that partnership with marketing.
Yeah, for us, it actually was born mostly out of a lack of resources. So our marketing team was spread pretty thin and was focusing primarily on lead generation and getting people through the sales pipeline. And so, especially as we started adopting and using Gainsight, we knew we needed to be sending these communications and we needed to be interacting with our customers. And so we just sort of started doing the function ourselves. And it was really important for us to just keep marketing aware of what was going on and let them know that we're here to help you as well, since you guys are a little bit busier. And then kind of running messages through them so they could look at copy and crediting them with some of the success that we were seeing as we were sending out these messages has really created a great partnership for us.
Great, fantastic. Well, let's move on to our next topic, our next true or false statement. So the goal of customer marketing is always to upsell. Lauren, true or false?
So false is my opinion on this. And before jumping into sort of Demandforce and how we look at upsell, I think it's important to look at marketing as a whole and how we view marketing and how that's shifted over time. Historically, marketing has been viewed as primarily a demand generation function in most of our businesses. And with the shift into a subscription economy, we have to look at that a little bit differently. And so whereas historically marketing would get someone through this sales pipeline and then you've made the sale, you're a customer, congratulations, we're done. And I think that's still a huge win in marketing, but it's no longer the end point, it's the middle point of the hourglass where we need to shift how we're marketing to our customers, not stop marketing to our customers. So I think that's very important to understand as we view marketing as a function going forward. For us, our product does not have a significant upsell or program upgrade. So the way that we're focusing on influencing revenue is mainly through increasing the lifetime value of our customers and then decreasing the cost of acquisition of new customers, as we've talked about in the previous slides. So for us, our customer marketing really needs to focus on engaging and getting our customers to adopt our features. We know that if they're adopting, if they're engaged, they're likely to stay with us longer and not be as likely to take a call from a competitor when those no doubt come about. And then once they're satisfied and they're happy and they're using the system and we're helping them to grow their business, them becoming advocates and becoming referrals then helps funnel things into the pipeline. And as Howard was saying, you get a customer who's going through the sales process much more quickly, who's more educated when they're onboarded, and they're more likely to be successful going forward. So it kind of creates this cycle of happy customers that continue to bring us success as well. So that's how we look at upsell at Demandforce.
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. Howard, let's go to you.
So it's very similar. Absolutely false. We don't. And again, 2.5 transitions later, when we started customer success, the last thing we wanted to ever be involved in was anything that started with an S. So no selling at all. We're not here to sell you anything. We want you to sell for us, right? So it was all about driving our best advocates to enhance our opportunity in the marketplace through providing that social proof, high volumes of social proof to drive the funnel. So, and as Lauren just said, and it's pretty obvious that when you have these kinds of opportunities coming to you that are peer driven, they are going to close quicker. They're going to be a much better partner for your implementation team. They're going to be onboarded in a much better shape and a much shorter path to revenue, and then they then become the advocate, right? So it kind of closes the entire circle. So up until just right now, no one in customer success had a quota or a target for upsell, cross-sell, or renewals. It just wasn't part of the job stream. That is changing, and I think our organization has matured to take that next step. But we're still seen by our advocates as being their advocates and being their lobbyist, right? So they do things for us, even on a bad day, right? So one of the things I tell people is that we start a relationship with our customers at point of contract. And the good news and the bad news is we have a pretty significant backlog, which is a healthy position to be in. We're not able to catch up with our ability to sell. By having a relationship with our clients, with a decision maker who put her name on a contract and her reputation on the line, telling her board that they're going to invest in Ceridian's human capital management rather than somebody else's, we keep them engaged in the big picture. What's the business outcome? Not on the blips on the oscilloscope of what's going on with that onboarding process. And we really come out of that with a really strong relationship and someone who's really prepared to sell for us, even on a bad day. On a bad day, and everybody can have a bad day. They're still willing to do things because they have a relationship. I'm looking at a couple of our team members in the front row who have stellar relationships with their customers. So it really works.
Now, given that focus on customer advocacy, are you measuring your customer success organization on referrals or case studies or other forms of advocacy?
Yes, and we're doing it through the way we have a gamification element to our customer success relationship with our customers. They earn points by accepting and in completing challenges. And those points can be used for things like attending our conference. Mm-hmm. They can exchange points for consulting, training, implementation, any Ceridian services. And then we have some customers that, by what I call tchotchkes, right? Ceridian coffee cups, pens, pencils, and duffel bags. So based upon the number of points that an advocate earns, that tells you how engaged they are, and that's how we're grading our customer success engagement.
That's right. So you're incentivizing them and also creating an element of competition.
Yeah, it's fun.
That's fantastic. Lauren, what about you?
For our customers, for the general base of customers, we don't have anything in place yet other than a referral of a free month of the product if you bring on a new customer. But we've just started implementing a system called RelayWare for our partners and affiliates and resellers of Demandforce, where they can upload their leads into the system, integrating into Salesforce and allowing us to see exactly how much they're selling us or referring new leads to us, and then reward them appropriately based on that information.
Okay, great, fantastic. Well, we've got about 5 minutes left. We're going to go ahead and bring up the house lights. We've got some mics out on the floor. It'd be great to take some of your questions in the final minutes of the panel. Any questions out there? Got a question up front here. We'll get a mic to you. Actually, since no one's close, why don't you just yell it out and we'll repeat it for you.
Yep.
Is the CSM sitting in sales calls with the AE for the sale? Like, literally the whole point of hearing their challenges so that when they become a customer, they're introduced as this might be your CSM feature?
Okay, so the question was around when is the CSM or is the CSM engaged in the sales process? and actively working and partnering with the AE during the sales process? Lauren?
For us, they're not. The CSM gets involved after the sale has already occurred. We use a system called Full Slate, which is a scheduling tool, and our account executive will schedule a time with the customer for the onboarding call, and they put in all of the notes, both in the scheduling system as well as in Salesforce, which is our sort of point of truth for customers, and then the CSM takes it from that point forward.
Great question. We got another question right over here. We got a mic coming to you,
Okay, great.
or a box.
Hi, Ryan Warren from ServiceSource. So do either of you in your organizations have your marketing folks have KPIs or MBOs or some kind of an incentive aligned with helping achieve explicit customer success objectives?
For us, we don't. All of our customer marketing is going primarily through our customer success team. So we're measuring it on our end mostly through how many customers are engaging with the content that we're sending out and how many are getting through the WalkMe tracks and actually turning on the features. That's a huge benefit to us because it means that we don't need a CSM to call out and they can focus on customers that have a higher need. So we're measuring that on the customer success side, but not on the marketing side.
Okay,
So,
excellent.
so with us, it's really about accountability. So marketing to us is a customer, and they have requests. And while we don't have KPIs and we don't have deadlines, if we don't respond to them and fulfill their needs within a day or two, somebody's phone is typically ringing.
Great. Thanks for your question. And I think we had a question over here. Sure. Go ahead.
Hi, thanks so much. I'm Katie Tilson from SailThrough, and I'm a senior customer success manager, and I have kind of taken it on to work closely with our marketing team as kind of the bridge, and it's going really well, but I'm curious whether you recommend having someone dedicated or how you recommend marketing and the customer success management team working together.
So we have a single point of contact for our marketers. We have somewhat of an optimized, automated relationship with them, where they can go to our success portal, which is searchable. They can search for having, what customer is in this vertical market with this many employees, and the entire demographics, and then they come. One of us, and it happens to be me in the organization. I receive those requests and process them. But it is a single point of contact for global marketing.
Yeah, for us, we have a single point of contact in marketing that we work with when we're scheduling out these communications and going over copy. And then we actually have a customer success operations team. So I have two individuals who focus purely on the ops and admin side of things, and they're primarily responsible for getting the messages created and scheduled and sent out and then tracking the analytics afterwards.
Great. I think we've got time for maybe one more question here.
Hi, this is actually, I probably want to talk to that woman over there just because I think I have a similar role. Last year when I went to the Gainsight conference, and I think it might have been SurveyMonkey or another company who talked about the customer marketing role under the customer success organization, because you're working directly with the customers and so close to that relationship. And that's how we have structured our role as well. But it sounds like for both of you that role is in the marketing organization instead. Is that correct? And do you see, is there a reason why that is for you all?
So for us, the marketing to current customers almost primarily lives within the customer success team. So it is part of our responsibility. We connect and partner with the marketing team to ensure that we're not sending too many communications or overlapping in messages. But that primarily lives within customer success. And I think it works better that way because your customer success organization is closer to the customer and they're able to influence what the messaging is that we're sending out to customers. And then in our org, the marketing team mostly focuses on the sales side of things and lead generation.
And for us, we have a field marketing manager who is part of marketing, assigned to the account executive organization for everything that happens in outbound to our customers, our existing customers, where customer success feeds the field marketing team with the talent for field events and the like.
Great. Well, let me go ahead and quickly summarize. We'll go ahead and wrap up the panel this afternoon. So a few key takeaways that you can take back into your organization. One of the things that Lauren talked about was it's time that we need to stop thinking about marketing in the traditional funnel during and really driving the sales process. It's really much more of an hourglass in a recurring revenue business model. And ultimately, you should think about, if you're not doing it already, putting your customer success organization in charge and measuring them on referrals, case studies, and other ways to influence and drive customer advocacy. Another point to consider within your organization is start shifting some of those demand gen dollars into customer advocacy plays. I think Howard talked a lot about the power of customer advocacy in Ceridian HCM's sales process and what it's done for their business. So I want to first thank our panelists. Thank you, Lauren. Thank you, Howard. And thank you for joining us. Good afternoon, and enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of the conference at Pulse. Thank you.